I want to run through something that came up when I was reviewing uh, some of the models. The idea of the curtain wall, and if you wanted to have a door in the curtain wall. So I'm going to pick the curtain wall that's here. So if I do WA, and I've got a curtain wall here called interior curtain wall 1. And I'm going to change some of this just because I think it makes a bit more sense if I say, instead of it being, actually, let's make a copy of it instead of doing that. So I've got curtain wall 1. And I can say edit type, and I'll do duplicate, and I'll call it curtain wall 3, and I'll just put in fixed spacing, not fixed divisions, but fixed spacing. Right? So if I make a copy of it, what I'm seeing here is that I can tell it what it should report in terms of a schedule for walls. You'd be able to flag that it's only interior walls that you're interested in. Automatic embed means you can put it inside another wall, or you can have it freestanding. It's got a glazed panel. That's where we decided on what we should have in our curtain wall. Vertically, so if I take this, I'm going to place this in the model. I'm going to place it over here where I've got a section that's looking at it. Okay, I'll change that in a minute, but let's just take a look at it in the section. So here it is here. This is our wall, and if we can change this height, but I drew it to be 9 feet high and unconnected. I'm going to modify it now just so you can see. So if I pick this and I say edit the type, I'll say instead of a fixed number, let's do the fixed distance. And let's say the fixed distance is 3 feet. And it's 3 feet from center to center of the mullions, if I don't check that on. And I'll do the same thing down here. Fixed distance. And this one I'll say, just to make it different so you can see it, I'll make this maybe 4 feet. And I'm keeping the same mullions. So when I do that, I've got my start of a wall is going 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, whatever is left, right? Depending on the length of the wall that I drew. So what I want to show you is is that the options that exist in here let you put, as you saw, if I tab, you can be putting a panel in here. The default was that we said glazed. But the question came up about how do I put a door in my curtain wall? What I want you to see is that, and this is confusing for every Revit user the first time they see it, if I go to the Insert Load Autodesk family and all the doors, these are the only 3 doors that you can put inside a curtain wall. These are actually 3 families that you could select and say, report on this like it's a door, or report on this like it's a window, strangely enough. But these are the 3 that go inside a curtain wall, unless you make more for yourself. And really what I want is this one. But it wouldn't do any harm to bring in these into the project to make sure you've got them all available. All of these are wall-based and only go on walls. Don't put a wall in your curtain wall and then put a door in the wall. That's kind of a no-no because the quantities would be wrong for any walls that you're putting it in. So workaround I've seen tried, but this is the way to do it, to put the panel in, not a wall and then put a live door in the wall. So load like this. So what I want to show is the hierarchy of what you've got inside your project. If I just go to the edge, I can always be picking the whole wall. You know, it's on level 1, it's unconnected, and it's 9 feet high. But this hierarchy of grid line, mullions on the grid line, and then panels between the grid lines is something that you can adapt. So if I'll just show this, I'm not going to, but if I do something like that to the bottom, that's 8 feet from the middle of the mullion up here to the bottom. Or maybe I even want to take that and put that on the bottom of the mullion, right? So it's like here. And if I picked on that, sorry, don't want to do that. So let me just go by this. I'm just going to, this is high enough for my door. Let me show the technique to put a door into here. So the tab key, just like it finds what's under the cursor when you're working on the floor plan, if I do tab, you see I can find the grid. And when you pick a grid, you can say add or remove segments. It's really hide or display segments. It's not really removing them. So if I wanted my door to be here, I can select on this. It's a toggle switch. Do you want the segment? Do you not want the segment? So by doing that, I actually took the mullions out and the glass panel expanded to go all around this area. And if I don't want that mullion, I can even tab and unpin, because the pin means accept the instructions that are coming from the style, the type properties for your curtain wall. But if I unpin it, it means hey, I can delete it. So all I've got now is a glass panel that is running from the bottom of the wall up to the underside of this mullion. And I can't change it. I can't change these things. I can't apply an override if I've got this pinned. So if I unpin that, this now means that what I can do is I can come in here and I can select any of the families that I brought into the project, right? So if I downloaded the door family that says door curtain wall single glass panel, like that, I can be putting that into my project. So now in like, if I look, I'm on level 1, but I'm just working on my height is a little weird. It's showing the panels, but it's not showing the mullions, because when I'm looking at my palette here, the height of the view range is 4 feet, and it's some. Let me just make that a little bigger. I'll say something like 4 feet 6. Applying. Okay, so now you should be able to see. I've got my tab key. I've got my panel, which is glazed. I've got my mullions that are here, and I've got my single door that is here. And that doors can be created with these flip things. So windows where you can flip them around to be oriented whatever way you want in the plan itself. So back to my section here. So the first takeaway was that you can take things out of the grid, and if you take segments of the grid out, you can have the panel, whatever extent. You might want to switch this to where it says realistic, and you're seeing that this is like glass. So what I also want to show is if I tab on this until it selects the panel, I could override by doing unpin, and then I could come up here, and what I could be doing is I could be saying, let's put in an empty panel there. Right? So that's like, I can see through this bit. If I do this again, if I do tab, 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 pick, unpin, I'm going to apply an override, and I'm looking in here, I'm looking for the one that says solid. Right? So solid could be whatever material you want it to be. If I do a tab to make sure I'm picking the solid panel, same technique as you've seen before. I could do edit type, duplicate, solid red, duplicate, whatever material you want, solid green. So you see the materials here. If I do solid red, I want to have for my material, here's the little checkbox at the end here. I'm just going to type in red. We're going to have a red paint, anything, any material here. Aluminium, anodized red. I could click on that to bring it into the project and click on that to assign it and do that. And let's say one of the other panels here, I could be doing pick. If this is pinned, it's saying use the solid that didn't have the material, this one here. If I unpin it, then I can be saying use solid green. And solid green, I'm going to edit the type and say I don't want the default material. I want that's what I want, but what I'm going to do is pick on here, go through and select green. And there's a plastic grey. I don't know why it says grey, that's a mistake. Let's bring it up and have a look at it. Plastic grey. Opaque grey plastic. I don't know why they got grey. So let's change that to green. Okay, so our material is now called plastic green, and I can go, okay, no, valid material. So I thought I did. Plastic green, plastic green. Okay. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else there. That would be, the way this was set up is for every, we did look at this before, but for every type parameter back, so I need to pick the outside of this. For this, any change that I make, these are the instructions that it got initially, and you've done overrides, right? So if I pick on something that's in here, I'll pick on one of these. Let me do one more here and then I'll take it out just to show you. So tab, 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 pick, unpin, green. Okay. And see if I go back to say tab, 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 pick, and I remove, I lock it again. Lock it means look at the original instructions. So you see it went back to the default panel. Right. A source of some confusion is that on the architecture tab up here, there's this option that says draw grid line and place all the mullions on it. But these are also overrides. So for example, if I did this, let's say I put that in, that is me adding an additional grid line. Therefore, it's getting the instructions from the definition of the curtain wall itself. Generally, I don't need to do that, but it's just so that you know that it's there. So now we've got, I'll just show you on the level here, we've got something that looks a bit more like that. So if I went into my project at any point and kind of said, I've got a curtain wall in here, I could pick it and I could say what I wanted was this curtain wall fixed spacing like that. And if I wanted to put a door in here, I could be clicking on the panels and looking at this to get what I want in my project. Let me do it quickly here. That was down here. And I could be doing remove this. I'm just going to make the door the same size as this. So tab, uncheck. I'll do this on purpose just to show you that it is kind of stretching everything. So if I do the store double door, what it's doing is fitting that into that space. If I do the wall double glass, like that, or in this case, I'm just going to use the same as we used before, which was single glass door like that. Override there, but I don't want somebody tripping over this at the bottom, so I need to unpin it and then delete it, and it will go from there. If I look at my floor plan, if I want it to open against the wall, I could flip it like that to do that in my conference room. So there's a lot of choices in there about a curtain wall, and I can elaborate further in the class if there's something else that you want to see done with it. So just to show, if you have a exterior or an interior wall, we had made this partition. Your easiest way to get the curved curtain wall is to go to the wall command and use that to curve the walls like this. It's easier than trying to draft it, and then you could put in your value for what radius you want. And then because this is a curved wall extending and coming around here, this is what you could be picking. If I do this as just I'll do it in a camera view so you can see it. Is you could be picking that, and you could be picking your your curtain wall. So this one that we worked on with the fixed spacing was like that, and your curtain wall 2 was like that. And if you were doing an override, it would be tab, pick, unpin, put in solid green, or it would be, so I'll change that to realistic so you can see it. And if you didn't want something in here, it would be tab, pick, remove segment, take it out there. And if you wanted the door in there, it would be tab, remove the pin, take your door and put it in there. And I don't really need that at the bottom. In fact, I might want to change that spacing a little bit. So tab, like that. So I'm just looking at the spacing on this. When I look at it on the top here, oh, sorry, that was a different curtain wall type. If I pick that one, it's not. That was the one with the gaskets in it. Let me do fixed spacing like that. Okay, so back to here is like that. But what I'm doing is tab, pick, and pin, delete. Remove that segment. Okay, one more attempt here. Got the grid line, remove segments. That. So I've got one door going all the way up, and then I also don't need that, so pick, unpin, delete. Oh, and the instance parameters would mean that I could pick this and I could change settings in here to say, don't start here with the equal spacing and then fill in this area, but actually measure from the center of that. So you see these are the same. And now my panel looks more like